Hey, what's going on? This is Ricardo of the Code 7 Podcast Network, and we're about to get started with Open Mic Live. It is May 19th, 2022. But as always, a word from our sponsors.
At InDigital, we know that public safety professionals hold themselves to a high standard. In fact, standard doesn't do it justice. In over 25 years working alongside you, carrying millions of calls over our IP networks, your dedication has inspired us. That's why our ESINet goes beyond industry standards, not only i3 compliant, but designed to adapt to future development for a network you can count on when it matters most. Learn more at indigital.net.
Here in Greenville County, we have 8 different places where a 911 call can be answered.
It is the largest county in South Carolina. It's a challenge.
The type of information that a telecommunicator gets from Radius Plus is location-based technology. You can see where the caller is, if they have a medical issue, if they speak a different language. They're immediately able to text to that caller in their native language. It reduces response times because it immediately gets first responders where they need to be.
Carbine, it's multimedia. You can get text, translate to whatever language, getting away with the legacy equipment and going into a cloud-based solution.
It's the first time in U.S. history that we have an EZNet through cloud-native call handling.
As a police officer, to have the victim go video, that's unheard of.
You're getting upgrades every month, not every year.
To schedule your free Carbine demo, please visit carbine.com/WTT.
If Within the Trenches has ever taught you something, open your eyes to what it is like to be a 911 dispatcher, or has inspired you to become one, then help support us and join our Patreon. Get exclusive bonus content, one-of-a-kind swag, discounts on merchandise, ad-free early access to new episodes, and much more. To join, please visit patreon.com/WTT podcast. And if you're an industry partner, we have something for you as well. And now, for the show.
This is Jordan, and you're listening to the Code 7 Podcast Network.
Warning. This episode contains the 3 A's of podcasting: adult content, adult language, and awesomeness. You've been warned.
Dispatch.
There is no one over here to cook our lunch. We are waiting for our lunch, and there's no one here to cook our lunch.
All right, calm down. Where are you at?
The group home. Now, what are you going to do?
We'll get some help over there for you, okay?
Welcome to Open Mic, where we visit the lighter side of dispatch, because laughing is good medicine. Yo, what is going on? It is May 19th, 2022. Holy crap, man. This month is going by super fast. Welcome to Open Mic Live. Welcome back. Welcome. There's a lot of shit that's been going on. We're going to jump right in. This live broadcast is sponsored by InDigital Rapid Deploy as well as Carbine. Big shout out to patrons as always. Thank you all very, very much for everything. And I see Tim and Shannon joining in here already. We've got others that are jumping in as well. So as always, make sure, roll call. And how are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being shitty, 10 being awesome. How are you feeling? How are things going? Roxy, what is going on, my friend? What is going on? Man, there's just a lot of stuff going on. But, also, excuse me, please make sure to throw in some reactions, share this broadcast on your feed as well as your favorite dispatch page, and let's get a bunch of folks up in this piece and share some funny stories. So I see Tim is an 8, Roxy is a 7. Excellent, very nice. And it's been kind of a whirlwind these last couple days. So, well, I'll say this first. So I posted episode 440 And episode 441 is going to be coming up as well. These are two, so make sure to check them out. The audio version of episode 440 is going to be going out tomorrow. It was going to be going out today, but again, there's just a lot of stuff that's been going on, so I'm playing catch up, as always. Catch up. Why am I doing the robot? I don't know. Not sure. But anyway, there's and I'll tell you about some of the stuff that's been going on as well, but things have just been going and going and going and going and going. And so Shannon here says, I'm a solid 8, just got done doing some yard work, LOL. So now it's beer 30. Yeah, there you go. I am having a kombucha and it's super good. Excellent. Good stuff. Roxy says, I feel like it can't be Thursday already. I know, right? Yeah, it's gone by really fast. This week especially has gone by really fast. So yesterday, I was working on a few things. I was trying to get some stuff put together, and I'm going to go ahead and show this right now while I have it up here on the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and share this. Bam. So I have been trying to figure out a way to share Crowdcast version 2. And Taylor, what is going on? Hello, welcome. So when I very first started using Crowdcast for virtual events and stuff, I was testing it out, and all I did was I created an event, and I was like, here, check this out. If you want to jump in and help me test it out, please do. And there was like 50 people on there right off the bat, just helping me test this. It was cool. It was really cool. It wasn't what I expected, but it was pretty cool. So I thought, well, we've got this second version that's coming out, and it looks amazing. So should I jump on there like I did last time and then just have people join and stuff? And I thought, maybe not. Let's try to do something different. So why not put together like a one-day virtual event, a workshop? And this is what I call it here on the screen: Public Safety Showcase. It's tomorrow. It starts at 9 a.m. And thank you to the sponsors, Evans Care, as well as Frontline Public Safety Solutions and Rapid SOS for jumping on. They're going to be doing some sessions, and it's completely free. It is all free. So I want you to make sure to join, to check it out. And I'm going to send this. We've got the link here that I want you to check out. And again, it is all free, and it's also going to be available for unlimited replay and everything. So this is going to be a way to test not only Crowdcast version 2, but for all of you to get a sneak peek, and for those who are going to be speaking to also have a chance to be on and share the awesome stuff that they are doing. So I want to go down the line here, and I'm going to start it out with Triumph through Struggle, and then Erica and Yasmin are going to be going next. And actually, let me pull up. I'm going to pull it up over here on my side, and then I'll talk you through it here. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you're able to join in and check it out. Again, it's free, and you're able to join, but also, you're able to view it as many times as you want. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the showcase here, and we got a bunch of people who have registered already. And, one of the new things is they now have a lobby for the actual event. So a lobby for the event itself. And there's also, a chat and everything in there, and you can do polls and a bunch of other stuff. But also, when you're in an actual session, they've got the chat available too. So looking at the schedule on the left, again, Triumph Through Struggle, I'm going to start it out at 9. And then Erica and Yasmin, who both work for Osceola Sheriff's office out of Florida, they're doing a session called Working 9 to 5, Not Our Way to Make a Living. And that is going to be an excellent one as well. Tanya Lee is going to be from Evans Care. She's going to be on after that, and she's going to be talking about if your work environment can make you sick. It's an excellent session. It's one that I recommend you check it out. Leslie Whittam with Rapid SOS will be going up after Tanya, and she's going to be talking about some new things that are going on with Rapid SOS. And then my homie, my good buddy Ryan Chambers is going to be on, and he's going to be talking about what's new at Frontline, new features built by the customer. So if you don't know what Frontline Public Safety Solutions is, make sure to check this out. And there's going to be a lot of stuff that you're going to get to learn. And then closing it out is going to be Sarah Pagel, who is with Thin Line Consulting. And she's going to be doing a session called Wellness. What does that even mean? And it's going to be kind of a laid back, chill conversation with the audience and everything. So it's going to be good. Again, the link is in there. Make sure to share this. Let's see how many people we can get on this. Again, I just did this yesterday. Okay. Excuse me. I did this yesterday, and I just thought, oh, maybe a couple people will join in, and a bunch of people have jumped in already. And I thank you very much for that. But again, this is going to be a good way for you to check out what is new with Crowdcast version 2, but also from some world-class speakers and some amazing information. So make sure to check it out. It's going to be excellent. Share it on there. It's going to be good. And so let me remove this off the screen here, and then let me drop this down. Awesome. So that, again, is going to be the Public Safety Showcase. And who knows, man? Who knows? If this goes well, maybe this is something we can do every month. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But either way, thank you all for jumping on and joining me for this one-day workshop out of nowhere. I appreciate you all more than you know, and especially to be able to get out this information, everything that you all are doing to be able to give back. You know, this is free for all of those who attend. So it's going to be really, really good. And let's see, Ryan says, you're amazing, dude. Happy to be a part of your support. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, man, for real. I appreciate you. I sent you a message and you were down immediately, just like everybody else. And I just thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it more than you know. Also, I ended up putting out that, and I'm gonna see if I can pull this up here really quick, because there was something else that I ended up doing. And like I said, it's been a whirlwind of a few days, man. There's been a lot of stuff going on. Now, I have done several virtual events, and people are registering for them daily. You know, the Denise Amber Lee Foundation has 2 Be the Difference virtual events. I've got 3 Dare to Be Greats. And then there are countless state NENA and APCO chapter virtual events that have happened, especially Kansas APCO, who is amazing, who does those webinar days or training days rather. And sometimes I feel like people aren't able to find them, you know, to find all of that stuff, especially because it's all free. And Wendy, hey, what's going on? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. What I ended up doing was I created a page on my website in order to have a central hub for everyone to be able to just go and find them all in one spot. So it's there now. The link is right there, and it's 228 hours worth of free training from these virtual events. And it's all there for you. And it's been really good. It's unlimited registration, unlimited on-demand viewing, and it's just been an amazing experience. So that hub is there. You can go to it. All of the virtual events that Within the Trenches Media ends up powering will be listed there, so that people can go back and see more and continue to do more and more. And attendance wise, oh my God, over 20,000 people from around the world have attended all together these events. So it has been superb. Again, thank you all so very much. So again, this is just some stuff that I've been wanting to talk about, because like I said, it's been a crazy past couple days. So while I'm putting some of the stuff together for the showcase that's going on tomorrow, I get a phone call from my good friend Stephanie out of Michigan. And we've known each other for years, back from my dispatch days. And, you know, I worked at Allegan, and she works at Berry County. She's the director there now, which is the county just east from the county that I was working in. And she called me up, And I knew that she was at the Michigan conference because the conference was going on this week. And she ended up, she goes, "Hey, buddy." And I was like, "Hi." I was like, "What's going on?" And a good friend was unable to make it to the conference. And shout out to you, brother. Thinking about you. And so they were looking to see if I could help with them and do the keynote. And today for this morning, and I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm down for it." So yesterday evening, after I was done doing all of this stuff, I drove to Michigan, which was only just over a 2-hour drive. So it wasn't that bad at all. But I drove there, got to the hotel room, and started working on my presentation because I added some new stuff. And it was the very first time that I did an emergency landing in person. I've only done it twice, and I've done it virtually. So I thought, what better place than my own home state to do that part of the session, an emergency landing, in person for the first time. And I was nervous as hell. So nervous because I had never done it in person before. I'd only done it virtually. And there's a lot that goes into that session. It's only about 30 minutes, but there's still a lot of stuff that goes into it with imagery and audio and telling this story and comparing my plane going down to us in dispatch when we take a hard call or when we just feel like our own personal airplane is going down. So it was going, back and forth and stuff. And it went really well. And I thank you, all of you, for being there and just welcoming me back. It's like I said, is my home state. So it's always good to go back and see all of my friends and stuff. But it was awesome to be able to add that in there. But also doing this keynote, yes, Roxy, yes, virtual does feel easier sometimes because I've got my screen right here, excuse me, and I'm reading everything, like some notes, and then I'm able to just pull everything up. Well, this is on big screens and there's intercoms, everything, the audio going over. And there were a couple times where I had to choke down some of the emotion a little bit because as I'm telling this story and comparing and having them, really put themselves in my shoes as to what was going on, especially when I played the song Yesterday by the Beatles, which is what I was listening to, watching everyone struggle to put their oxygen masks on and trying to reach out to people to either say goodbye or whatever it was. And so, there were some people who were getting emotional. So I was trying to hold it back a little bit so that it didn't get even more emotional, but it was still really, really good and very powerful. And it was a good time. And I am looking forward to doing it again in person because it turned out very well. And Roxy, thank you so much. I appreciate that. But also during this time that I'm doing this keynote, it reminded me of 3 calls. Okay. And I want to share these calls with you because I want to see what you think about some of these calls. And maybe you've had something similar. But also, if you have any 911 calls, funny 911 calls or incidents or whatever that you want to share, please throw them in the comments and I will go through that. Let's see. Pam here says, yes, speaker notes on PowerPoint is easy. Your story made me cry. I told you that in person in Nashville. Yes, you did. And I was bawling as well. But I do look forward to doing it again in person. It's one thing to do it virtually, but in person it was that much more powerful and impactful, especially with all the visuals and everything, the audio. It was really good. So I want to share some awkward 911 calls. Okay. Awkward, but kind of funny. because we've all taken 911 calls, right? When we kind of put our foot in our mouths, right? We kind of put our foot in our mouths, and we don't know what to. You can't just like, you can't take it back. You cannot take it back at all. And oh, Caitlin, hey, what's going on? Let's see. She says, our 2 dispatchers there this morning said that you were their favorite speaker of the conference. They really enjoyed your presentation. Great job. Oh, thank you so much. That I was nervous as hell. I really was. I'm always nervous right before I start speaking, but then when I start talking, then it all goes away. But tell your dispatchers that I said thank you so much. I appreciate it more than you know. It was an excellent time. Like I said, it's always fun to come back to Michigan. But doing this this keynote and everything, there was a call that I left out in one of these that I put, and or that I had out there, and I'm going to share these other 2 that I did have on there. But again, there are a lot of times when we're taking calls and you say certain things, okay? You say certain things and you can't take it back. And then you're pretty much screwed. You're there. And you have to think of a way to continue the phone call, right? Because that's why we're there. We're there to help. But we also use our words to to help the situation. But sometimes shit just comes out, and then the situation is like, what do I say? What do I do now? So I took this call once, okay? I took a call once where it was a verbal domestic. It was between a father and his teenage son. The father was in another room. Again, just verbal only, nothing physical, nothing like that. They were just getting into it. And I'm on with the son. Now, I had gone through all of my questioning. Officers are headed that way. Everyone is safe. And I've gone through all the questions. And then I remembered, I didn't ask where mom is at. And if I remember correctly, I didn't ask because I didn't hear that voice. When you hear a bunch of different voices in the background, you start asking who all the people are, right? And just so that you know how many people are there, because it's a scene safety thing as well with officers going out there. And I hadn't asked about mom yet, but I also hadn't heard her voice. So I thought, oh, well, maybe, the parents aren't together or anything. But, the teenager was upset and stuff. So I'm trying to think of different things to talk about with him during that time. And then I thought, well, I'm just going to ask where mom is at. And I said, so I know where you're at. I know where your dad is at. So where's your mom? Where's your mom right now at this time? And he didn't say anything at first. And I thought, oh, shit. Did I say something wrong? And I said, are you there? Are you there? James, what's going on, man? A little late from South Jersey. He's at a 7. All right. Excellent. Good number. Good number. Welcome, dude. And so I asked again. I said, are you there? Are you there? And he's like, yeah. Yeah. I'm here. And I said, oh, okay. I said, I just wanted to make sure. But so where's your mom? Where's your mom at? And he goes, she passed away a little while ago. And I'm like, a little while ago? And he's like, well, like a couple years ago, she passed away. And I'm thinking, damn. I am sorry, dude. Because that's one of those things. They're like, I didn't know. Obviously, I didn't know. But where do you go from there? Especially because this teenager is like upset already as it is, because he and his dad have been arguing and shit pretty much the whole day, and finally called 911 to get some sort of assistance. And here my dumbass is asking where his mom is at. And his mom died a couple of years ago. Fuck. What do you do, man? Like you can't, again, you can't like pull the words back. You can't. And so like immediately, James says, got to figure it out. What's really going down in the house? Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. And but and then that happens. So immediately I say to the kid, like, I'm sorry. Like, I am really sorry. And he goes, it's okay. He's like, you didn't know. And I said, yeah, thanks. Like, like what else do I say? But then right after that, the kid ends up saying, but I really miss her. I really do miss her. And I'm like, oh man, like you're just twisting, man. You're like, because I already felt like shit as it was. And now this kid is telling me how much he misses his mom and stuff. And I'm just sitting there. Okay, get out there, officers. It's horrible, man. But, this is our job, right? This is what happens. But there's those awkward moments in 911 when you're on the phone call with somebody and something like that happens and you're like, son of a bitch. Ah. Doug, what is going on? Hello. So that's one of them. That's one of the calls. Now, and I'm curious, have any of you done something similar? Now, I know a lot of people, have probably taken calls where they're saying sir or ma'am and they get it wrong, right? And the person's like, I'm a ma'am or I'm a sir. And you're like, fuck, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I can't see you. I'm just going off of what your voice kind of sounds like. So, so here's another one. And there's it's kind of a running thing because these are all verbal arguments that were going on. So this other call, and again, if you have any funny 911 calls or anything similar, please throw it in the comments and I will read it and we will discuss this, okay, as we're going along. So these other two calls are ones that I shared earlier today during the keynote, because I had shared some pretty hard calls as well, but I wanted to mix it up. I wanted to add some other ones that I had taken, because 911 can be hell, right? It can be chaotic, but it's not all bad. There are good things in 911. There are good calls, and there are funny calls. Hell yes, there are funny calls. We know this. And here's one that came in right here. It says, hello. I once had an intoxicated female wanting us to send the police to her parents' house. This was a business line call. I asked their address, and she replied, I'm not telling you that. So I asked their names, and she replied, I'm not telling you that either. So I asked her name, and you guessed it, she didn't tell me. So I told her that I couldn't help her if she wouldn't give me any information. She then asked, well, then how can you help me? I couldn't even with her. For real, man. Like, come on. Like, you're calling for help. We need some information. Oh, thank you for sharing that. I remember, I'm going to jump in with one as well. I remember one where, so when I was working at Allegan County Central Dispatch, I worked in an area, like, so the whole west side of the county were people that I knew. Okay. People that I went to school with, family members, cousins, whatever. And I remember one time it was a Friday night and a girl called in about her baby's daddy who was having a party. Okay. And I knew her voice. And when she gave me her name, I knew exactly who she was. And I knew exactly the person that she was talking about, because I went to school with the both of them. And she was on her way to pick up their son because he was having a party and she didn't want him there. And I said, well, what's the father's name? I already knew, but I had to ask, right? And she, like, similar to yours, Sarah, she goes, well, I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to get him in trouble. I'm like, dude, you're calling because he's having a party that you don't want your son at. You want people to go over there and break it up, but you don't want to give me his name. So I kept trying to ask her different ways, and she would not give me the person's name. So I finally said, okay, well, we're going to have the officers go over there to so-and-so's house. And she goes, you already knew who it was? And she goes, do you know who I am? What's your name? And I gave my name. However, in school, people knew me as Rich or Richie. Nobody knew me by my given name, Ricardo. So it was the funniest shit, man. To hear her response after she would not give me any information, but I knew the dude's name. I knew exactly where he lived. I went to school with them. I knew who they were. It was the funniest shit. I enjoyed it. Let's see. We've got a few of them that came in here. So hold on just one moment. This one here says, let's see, another Florida animal story. We have sandhill cranes. They are huge. Look them up. And people will call in when they get injured. One day, someone called in with broken English and said a whole family had gotten hit in the crosswalk. The dispatcher missed that it was giant birds and several rescues were sent out. Oops. Dude, I can see that happening, though. I can see it happening, and that would be crazy. So, okay, so when everybody got there, what happened? Like, did everyone show up and they were all like, Central, this is not like a family. These are not humans. These are birds. Oh man. That right there has got to be because the adrenaline is going, right? You're hauling ass trying to get to this accident because a family just got hit. And then you get there and you just see like all this weirdness. Like, wait, what? Like, this doesn't seem right. Let's see. We got another one here that says, my smart mouth always tell people that the police or ambulance have to drive to get there. They don't just appear. One guy at a shots fired call didn't appreciate me saying that. He said, oh, you got jokes? No, sir. I'm serious. He said he was going to report me to the chief. But sometimes you have to be real like that. From my experience, I would tell people right away because, they would get pissed off. They would get pissed off with me on the phone and be like, where are they at? I pay my taxes. I pay for your, all that good shit. And I would have to just straight up be real with them and say, look, the officer's not just sitting around the corner for your emergency. Like, they're coming from a couple townships away, man. Like, they're not close. They're going as fast as they can to get to you. But your emergency is not the only emergency that's going on, and again, from my experience, being real like that with my callers, and not being, like crappy or anything, just being straight up with them and telling them, they were okay with it. They were cool with it. They would say, oh, okay. No. I understand. They are, they're coming from wherever they're coming from. And they would be fine. Sometimes there would be people that would be like, nah, son, I don't care what you're saying. And they would still, they would get pissed off, but the majority of folks understood. They understood and they were fine. They waited, I was able to put them on hold or whatever if another call came in. So being real like that with people does work. There's always going to be someone that it doesn't work with, though. But it's good to just be straight up, man. That's how it works. It's good. James, I see yours here. I'll read it here in just one moment. So this other one, okay. I take a phone call from this guy, and he is just beside himself. He's upset, and he was in a verbal argument with his wife, and he is standing at the end of the driveway, okay, and she's back at the house, and I'm talking to him, and I hear what sounds like a little girl crying, okay, like right next to him. It sounded like a little girl crying, and I thought, well, this has got to be this guy's daughter, it's got to be their daughter who's there, who's upset and stuff. So I decided to check on the daughter to kind of take his mind off of everything else that was going on. Maybe it would help him stay a little more calm as we're waiting for the officers to get there. Okay, because that's one of the things we do, right? We try to think outside of the box. We try to do everything we can talking to people to keep them calm, but also continue talking too. So I decided to mention his daughter because I heard her crying. And so I say, "Sir, how is your daughter doing? Is she okay? I can hear her crying." And I said, "The officers are almost there, but is your daughter okay?" And he's, just kind of sniffling and stuff, and he's just, "Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's okay." Wait a minute. What? What did you say? My what? And then I thought, "Oh shit. Is this not his daughter? Is it somebody else who's crying there?" And I said, Your daughter." And he goes, "Sir, I don't have a daughter." Oh. So I immediately tell my partner who's on phones, I'm like, "You've got to monitor this. I just fucked up." Like, not like I screwed up the call or anything, just something that I said, because now I can't take it back. Now I have to maneuver what I just said and figure out what is going on, who it is that's crying right there. So she's listening on the phone on next to me in the other console. And I said, "Well, sir, I apologize if you don't have a daughter. It's just I hear crying, almost like a yelping." And then I thought, "Oh no, it's not a human." Because the guy then says, I don't have a daughter. That's my dog." I was like, "Oh God." Okay. So my partner's listening and she's laughing as this is going on, because it turns out this isn't a little girl, at least not a human girl. It's a dog. So she's laughing and I'm like, "Shut the hell up. Like, you're making it worse." and so then what do you do? What do you do? You try to make it better, right? So I did what I would have done if it was his daughter, and I said, "Well, just comfort her, okay? Just comfort her. Let her know that it's gonna be okay, that everything is gonna be fine." And he did. He did. I hear him go, "It's okay, girl. It's all right. Everything is gonna be okay." And I thought, hell yeah, like, this is working. This is working. Meanwhile, my partner is still laughing and looking at me like, "I can't believe you said that." Like, but I was trying to keep him calm, and also at the same time keep the dog calm, because obviously the dog was having an issue. But then I went further, because I ended up saying, "Well, this is probably not the first time that your dog has had to see this, huh?" Why? Why? Why did I say that? I mean, I was just trying to keep him talking, you know? And again, my partner's like, but then the guy says, "No, you're right. It's not the first time. It's not." And I was like, "Oh my God." But the guy stayed calm and and was comforting his dog, and the dog ended up being okay. But these are those like kind of awkward moments, right? When you're on the phone and this again, this is a verbal domestic, nothing physical, nothing going on, but you're talking to them and you stay on the phone. You have to stay on the phone because anything can happen. And you've got officers heading out there. And I'm going through this whole thing. I'm like, I can't believe I just did that. Officers got out there, everything ended up being fine, but that's one of those that I'll never forget, and it's one that I talk about either during the keynote or other times, or like now talking about this because these are good teaching moments. But also, for people to I guess to learn from my experience, but you keep that conversation going, and sometimes you end up saying shit that you can't take back. So you have to maneuver through the detour that is your mouth to try to make things better. Lauren, what is going on? Welcome. So that's another one that I will never forget, and it all ended up working out just fine. Let's see. James says, "Do you remember a conversation during episode 333? I had a similar situation with a male talking about self-harm, and I said exactly what I had to say to the other gentleman before instructing the caller to go outside. Only this time he took what I had said and thought, suicide by cop. Fortunately, that did not occur. Very good. Yes. And he was transported to the hospital about a month later. Same dude. I took his call as a victim of a strong-armed robbery while delivering a pizza." Oh, dude, I do remember that. Yes. What are the odds, man? Like, again, it's the job. What? Lauren says maneuver is a weird word. Is that like saying moist? Sorry. I know there's a lot of people who don't like that word. Like my sisters specifically, excuse me, they do not like the word moist. So me being the funny, smart-ass, but loving big brother that I am the oldest. When so you don't like that word either. Moist. Stop saying it, she says. So what I will do sometimes when I'm in the grocery store, I'll go down the baking aisle and I will take a picture of the boxes of Duncan Hines that say super moist. And I will send them to my sisters. And one of the times I'll never forget, my sister Devon sent a message back and she goes, "Have you no morals?" Oh, it's the most amazing shit, man. Lauren says, "I'd rather smell hot Vegas bologna." What about moist Vegas bologna? Okay, I'll stop saying it because I don't want you to leave. I love having you here. So there's another one here that says, "One time, this drunk guy just kept calling 911. I mean, it was every 2 minutes for a solid 7 hours. Holy shit. I was tired. So the last time he called, I told him to just go to bed and quit bugging us. Well, as luck would have it, he had a severe brain injury." Oh no. Yep, I told someone with a TBI to just go to bed and quit bugging us. Oh no. See, again, those are moments where you're like, I'm sorry. I can't take that back. Lavelle says, "You're evil." And Lauren says, "I'm leaving." No, don't leave. Stay, please. Let's see. I got another one here that says, a few years ago, I had to call 911 for my mom, who was having severe kidney stone pain. The dispatcher on the other end of the line was going through the whole E&D process and asking questions not related to the problem at hand. I got fed up and said, "Listen, I am a dispatcher. The PT is conscious and alert and ambulatory with 10 out of 10 pain. We will meet the ambulance outside." There was a significant pause and then okay. I said, "I know you have all the questions to ask, but just," and that is where the story ends. Can you copy and paste from "but just" and the rest down and put it in there, please? I don't know what it is. Like, there's a certain character count, word count, or whatever that it doesn't allow for all of it to go on there. So if you can just add that part on there, I would appreciate it. Another call before this other part comes up here from this other story. Um, what does it say? James says, "What's the saying? Doctors make the worst patients." Are you saying dispatchers make the worst callers? Oh, that's funny. So I took a call once. Oh, and it says, "It was just send the ambulance." The dispatcher wrapped up the conversation quickly. Oh, that's funny. You know, I remember I had a call once where there was it was on my day off. And I remember there was a lot of times, even now, there are times where I'm like in, a checkout lane, or, just in a grocery store or whatever. And I'm thinking, if somebody was to go down in front of me or something, pass out or whatever, would I be prepared to run and help them out? And of course I would be. You call 911, you go get the AED, all that shit. And a time actually came where a situation like that happened. So when I was still living in Michigan, I was living in this duplex, and right across from us was an adult home. And my son and I had gone outside. We didn't have the best reception inside the house, but as soon as you walk outside, cell phone worked perfectly. So go figure that. But we were going outside because we were going to order some food for me to go pick up. And we're out there, and I end up hearing, "Help me. Somebody help." Like this real small, like little mousy voice, someone asking for help. And both Logan and I are looking around. We're like, where is that coming from? Like, I don't see anybody. And we're looking and looking and looking, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's somebody's TV, So I go to call and hear it again. And we had been looking straight ahead, right? And turning, looking around. Well, then I look down and I see this elderly woman laying face down in the driveway of that facility. And I told my son, who I think was like 5 at the time, maybe, to run inside and tell his mom that I was going to go help this lady and that I was going to call 911. So he runs inside. I run across the street, and this little lady is there. And I'm like, "How long have you been here?" But, I run up to her, and, of course, when people are hurt, you're not supposed to touch them, move them, lift them, or whatever. But she wanted to get up from there. And of course, unless they're in danger, and she's right in the middle of the driveway, somebody could have easily run her over because you couldn't see her. so I go over there and she's like, yes, I'm fine. I just need help up. And I was like, you're sure there's nothing, hurt, nothing broken, nothing like that. And she goes, no, no, no. And she was frail, man. Like when I got her to help her to pick her up, like you could just feel like her bones, man. Like she was very frail, very old. And she just kept saying, thank you so much. And I'll never forget. She goes, you were like my guardian angel. You came out of nowhere to save me. And I don't know whatever happened to this little old lady, but I'll always remember her, all these things that she said. But also when I picked her up, man, she had a gash on her forehead, dude. Like her skin just like blunk, and she was bleeding. I'm like, oh my God. And the nurses that were there, they're just looking outside. They're like, what's going on? I'm like, get over here. What are you doing? And finally somebody comes out and they're like, oh, what are you doing? What happened? And I was like, are you guys calling 911 or what? And they're like, no, we can treat her here. I'm like, dude, okay, well, I'm going to call because you guys are not taking care of this person. And so I called. And that's the reason I'm saying this story too, is because of, the story that you're sharing about calling 911. And I did the same thing. I started answering all the questions and going down EMD protocol. And, they already had, a dry cloth on the wound, pressed down and firm pressure, don't lift, and, all that stuff. And I remember the dispatcher I was talking to goes, are you paramedic or something? And I said, no, I'm from Allegan Dispatch. And I said, this is Ricardo. And they're like, oh, Ricardo, what's going on, man? Because this was a neighboring agency. I didn't live in the county that I worked in, but they knew who I was. I knew everybody there. So at least for me, it ended up working out fine. But man, those people were not helping this little old lady out, and it sucked. So it also answered my question of would I immediately jump in to help if I had that opportunity, and I did, and I'll never forget that. It was an awesome moment. But I was that caller as a dispatcher, like answering questions and giving them all out before they had a chance. I kind of felt like a dick afterwards, but yeah. It was pretty interesting. Let's see here. Okay, this one says nothing like being off at your girlfriend's house in a different county doing a country backyard camping trip, setting up tents and fire pits. She lives on 2 acres with 2 kids. I hear someone lay a bike down. They don't hear much. I said, call 911. Someone laid their bike down. I take off running in 2 big flip-flops all the way out the front gate. Man, I'm surprised you didn't jack your ankle. A man starts screaming for help. I'm trying to get reception for 911 as I'm running, finally get a dispatcher and give them the address for us and ask her if she has to do EMD. She's confused and says, we don't do any of that. I said, never mind. I'm an EMD from Cherokee 911. The female isn't responsive. She finally starts coming to, but she wants to move, and I won't let her because she landed against a large fallen oak tree. Oh, man. As dispatch is on the phone with me, not saying a word, just letting it record, finally EMS shows up, and as I'm giving them the update, I asked, does your dispatch give CPR instructions? The medic said, no, that's for us to do. I told my girlfriend and her family to call Cherokee County 911 if one of them falls out, at least get instructions. Oh man. Yeah, I mean there are, some of those places, there are some centers that they don't do any EMD or anything. And when I started out in dispatch, I worked at a small police department, and when we would get a medical in, we would get just the pertinent information. and then transfer it to county radio, which is central dispatch for the county, for Polk County. And they did all the EMD stuff there. So it was an interesting thing for me to move back home to Southwest Michigan and go through EMD and do all the medical stuff, because I didn't do that for 3.5 years. That wasn't something that I did. Let's see. Lauren says, it blew my mind. They won't take the liability. Whew, yeah. James says that's got to change in 2022. And I'm sure there's a lot of places that are changing. There's more and more people who are becoming EMD certified and such for medicals like that. So this other call that I wanted to share. How many of you know what a speak and spell is? Yeah? Speak and spell. Do you remember what a speak and spell is? We'll see what people say here in the comments, but Tim says, yep. Okay, good. Good. Oh, Gudrun, what's going on, yo? She says, I do. Good. Okay, keep that in mind, okay? Oh, Erica says, today's kids don't know. That's right. But for those who do, remember that voice of the speak and spell, okay? And for those who don't know what a speak and spell is, it was basically like a kid's toy to help with letters and numbers and words and reading and all this other stuff. And it had a very robotic voice, okay? So, all right, Lauren and Lavelle. Yes, I remember that. Okay, good. So I take this phone call once, and I say, Elegant 911, where's your emergency? And I hear, I need help. So immediately, in my head, I picture a speak and spell on the phone talking to me. Because that was not the voice that I was expecting to hear. Okay. Now, I can't ever remember what it's called, but the person was speaking with, one of those machines to help them talk, which is why it sounded robotic. Oh, Lauren says, oh my heavens, Ricardo. It gets, yes. So I'm talking to this person, okay? It's a verbal argument, verbal only, nothing physical. And this person is having some issues with their daughter, okay? And at this time, I can hear the daughter in the background just going off, but the daughter is on the other side of the house. She's just that loud that I can hear her on the phone too. And officers are getting out there, okay? I had all the information that I needed. And what I heard this person say to me was that their name was Carl, okay? Carl. So throughout the entire phone call, I am saying Carl, over and over and over. The officers are almost out there, and I let Carl know this. Well, Carl had enough of my shit, because Carl ends up saying to me, my name is not Carl, it's Carol. And I thought, oh shit. So the whole time it was actually Carol. It was a Carol that I was talking to, not Carl. Carol. But Carol had an amazing sense of humor, because right after that she says, this thing makes me sound like a man. Ha, ha, ha. Now, we are supposed to stay professional, right? We don't always laugh with people on the phone, but damn it, I laughed with Carol because that was my bad, dude. That was my bad. And Carol had such a good sense of humor and was such a good sport. Saying that and even laughing, oh my God. That is one call that I will never forget. Never. Man, I was just dying laughing. And Lavelle says, I'm done with you. Oh, man. Tim says, at least you sent help and didn't think it was a prank. Well, of course. Yes. James says, batting 1,000, bro. Shannon says, and then you say, okay, Carl. Sarah says, at least you were close. Lauren says, you're an ass. That's what I would have said. Well, dude, that's what I heard was Carl, but it was actually Carol. But she was amazing, man. She answered all of my questions and kept going until the very end, and then told me that, and laughed as well. Officers got out there, and I told her to, I wished her the best, and that I hoped that everything ended up being fine with her daughter after all. And Lauren says, I shall call you Carol from now on. That's great. And I hang up the phone, and I as soon as I hung up the phone, man, I was just dying laughing. Like I said in the beginning, there is a lot of hell and chaos that is in 911, but it's not all bad. There are good things. And if I remember correctly, I had back-to-back shit calls that shift. And then this happened. And it seems like that sometimes, right? Where you just go from call to call to call, and they're hard ones, and they just keep piling on and piling on. And then the universe is like, you know what? You need something to break up this chaos. And then something like that happens. It made for a better shift after that. But man, again, that is one that I will never, ever forget. So we are just past the hour, and there was one last thing that I wanted to play. This was something that a fan of the podcast, Alexis, thank you, sent this to me on Instagram, and this was a reel, and I want to play this. And hold on here. So Erica says, I hear Carl, like llamas with hats, says it. What? Are you talking like the dude from The Walking Dead? It's got that meme. He's always saying, Carl. Okay, I'm gonna turn this on. I'm gonna play this. YouTube it. Okay. All right, so here it is right here. So this is if teachers were 911 operators. So again, shout out to Alexis for sending this over Instagram, and shout out to Leo for, this is real. So it's pretty funny. So here we go.
Okay, this is 911. What is your emergency? Okay, I cannot understand you through the tears. I need you to speak to me clearly, okay? Clear. I'll wait. I will wait. I'm not the one that needs this. Okay, I've already been through this. Okay. All right. So you need an ambulance? I don't know. Can you? Can you get an ambulance? You can. May you. There you go. Okay. You see how it can be confusing though, right? All right. So tell me what's wrong. Again, clearly, please.
I think it's funny, man, because that does happen, right? Like, if you remember being in school, if you remember being in school and raising your hand and the teacher's like, Rich, yeah, go ahead. Do you have a question? Can I use the bathroom? I don't know. Can you use the bathroom? Yes, you can. But how do you ask? And then you would have to say, may I use the bathroom? And they would say, yes, you may. Go ahead and go. That's why this is funny, man, because yeah, because you're like, can I get an ambulance? You can. May you? It's so funny. It's even more funny too when this person's like, I'll wait. Because I remember a teacher doing the same shit, being like, assuming that the can I, may I, whatever, and they're like, I'll wait for you to say it right. And meanwhile, you're about to shit yourself, and you're like, okay, may I? Oh, okay, that's what you're waiting for. May I go drop some heat? Shannon says, we had a dispatcher like that, in all caps. Had. Whoops. Tim says, grammar police. Sarah here says, my mom just heard that, and she's a teacher and just nodded her head. Oh, that's amazing. Lauren says, it took everything in me to not correct people when I started at dispatch. I didn't realize how many country backwoods dialects there were until I began dispatching. Erica says, I could imagine a teacher 911 operator saying, you get to wear the tattletale for not minding your own business. Oh, man. Yeah. That is amazing. That is good stuff. Well, I want to thank you all once again for joining me for Open Mic Live. We do this every Thursday, unless I'm traveling or just not feeling well or whatever. I end up doing it on Saturday. But the whole point of Open Mic Live is to have you all come and join me and share these funny stories or incidents or whatever, and just talk and check in with each other and see how we're doing. I'm a firm believer that laughing is good medicine, which is why I asked what your number is in the beginning, and I'll ask you now. What is your number now? Everyone who ended up jumping in had a pretty high number, which is amazing. So where are you at now? I'm way above a 10. This was awesome. It was so much fun to be here with all of you and to share these stories and to talk some smack. Lauren's at a 9. Awesome. Tim is at a 9. Excellent. This is good stuff. This is really good. Again, thank you so much for everything and for jumping on and sharing these stories and listening to some of my old calls too. Oh man, it was so good. It was such a fun time. This live broadcast has been sponsored by Indigital Rapid Deploy as well as Carbine. Shout out to patrons as always for everything. Thank you so much. And as always, a perk for patrons only is audio versions of the DRT as well as Open Mic Live. And next week, Wednesday, I believe is the 25th, I think, something like that. And we have another Dispatchers Roundtable that's going to be coming up. So make sure to look out for that. Also, again, the Public Safety Showcase is going on tomorrow starting at 9 in the morning. And we've got some excellent sessions that are going to be going on. So again, make sure to check it out. It's free for all of you to check out. And you get to see Crowdcast version 2, what it looks like. And it's pretty badass. It's pretty good. So again, thank you all for being here. Also, make sure to check out withinthetrenches.net/virtual-events so that you can take advantage of 228 hours of free training over several virtual events. Make sure to check that out. Very good stuff there as well. If you have any comments, questions, or you want to be a guest on the show, you can email us, and that's going to be wttpodcast@gmail.com. Once again, that is wttpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter. That is @91podcast. You can like us on Facebook. That is facebook.com/Within the Trenches Podcast. If you want to be a patron and help support us, you can check us out here, and that is patreon.com/WTT podcast. This can be seen on Facebook, YouTube, as well as Twitter. And then the flagship show Within the Trenches Podcast can be heard 24/7 on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, your favorite podcasting app, and withinthetrenches.net. Thank you all very, very much for everything. Shannon is a 15 here. Thanks, y'all. This is the best community ever. Yes. Excellent. Lavelle says, thank you for sharing. James is at a 12. Now love interacting with you and the audience members during the show. Always a good time, bro. And just having all of you here. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for everything and for the job that you do. Thank you. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.